Okay, I'm trying this again because it keeps telling me that the stream has failed. So this might be the third time I've popped on, or you may not have seen anything at all. I don't know. I'm still down here at South Albert. I haven't gotten too far, but I started at the far end down there where I left the car at OK Tire. I'm just walking home, and I keep seeing a message that I so far have not actually been able to read because it goes by too fast, which is very annoying. It keeps saying my stream, unable to stream, and I don't know why that is. So this is my third time to try. I may have to edit all these together today to make a decent video. I used to do that all the time, but it got to be too much work, so I just relied on the live stream recording, but possibly I just cut people off back there because it was working, but I don't think so because I had two little zeros showing nobody was watching, so it shouldn't have affected anybody. I'm just watching it very closely now to see if that message pops up and see if I can catch it next time. Big empty lot here, not too exciting. Western Pizza I've been at for many a dinner. Has a nice big room you can get, so for like cast parties and stuff, it's one of the places we often consider. Well, got a #1 on YouTube, so at least it's found me again. Hopefully the live stream stays up this time. I really do think it failed, but I don't know why. By Robin's Donuts. India Market. Used to be a wine store down there where the India Market is, but it's moved out to the west side, Harbor Landing. Grocery store. Used to be a Safeway. And the YMCA childcare is in here. That was Alice's childcare, but it wasn't down here. It was downtown. Very handy to us at the time. Original Joe's over there. We'll leave the commercial area here. That side is residential. This side, well, it's residential to start with, but then it's more. There's a school, and then there are government buildings that we'll walk by. Because this will take us down by the legislative building eventually. I think we're going to hit this one pretty good. Yeah, if I keep moving, we should get across. Let's go by Marion Gardens. Used to be a school there called Marion Girls School. Long gone. Yeah, there's a comment. So somebody at least. Good morning. Trying to read that with my bad eyes. Afsal, I guess. Good morning. On my third attempt to get this live stream going, I think it's working. So these are seniors' residences here. You know, retirement. I don't know what you call them. I don't know. Some of them are just kind of apartments, but there's also a certain amount of assisted living. Usually that means at the very least there's a dining room where you can go and eat, so you don't have to prepare your own meals all the time. I think this complex in the middle has higher level of care, but I'm not 100% sure. Marion Chateau. Retirement living, says on the blue sign. Since I don't get to retire, I'll work till I can't work anymore, but I won't retire. Respite and trial stays available. Oh, so you can experiment and see if you like it here. Just got to the main entrance there. As I go up here, there'll be bigger and bigger houses over on the other side. This was kind of prime real estate in the early years of the city. Garage door going up. Must be somebody coming out. Somebody coming out. Sure enough, somebody coming out. Or somebody coming out. Marion Grande at this end. Again, some of this might just be regular condos for folks. And it's not all retirement. I'm not 100% sure about that. Up next is another school ground. This was a school ground. Regina Christian School. Used to be a seminary, I think. Somebody told me once. It's an old building, which we'll see when we get up to it. Right now, it's just parkland and playground. And there's another school. It's down that way. Public high school. Oh, no, it's a Catholic high school, I guess. And then condos have been built over there. You can see there's some soccer nets there. Well, that did my song. Somebody said hello and then promptly disappeared again. So it's at 0-0 again. Nobody's watching. I talk to myself, but I never listen to me. I guess technically the behind that fence, maybe that's just the smaller kids' playground. Some of that might be city parkland. Could be. I don't know. So here's the back of Regina Christian School. Now accepting applications for fall. There's the number to call. Looks like we're going to have to wait at this intersection. There's the front of the school coming into view. Up next on our little trek down Albert is T.C. Douglas Building, government building, and also where the Mackenzie Art Gallery is. But first we have to wait to cross the street. Shouldn't be too long at this intersection. Somebody's doing something big over there in that house. And once we cross the street, we're in Wascana Center, where the lake is. I don't think there's a left turn signal to worry about here, so we'll get a walk light pretty quick. Oh, I'm wrong. There's a left turn signal because here come a bunch of left turners. You can't turn left going down 23rd from here, according to the sign. There's our turn. There's the sign welcoming us to Wascana Center. We'll step away from Albert now. A little bit. T.C. Douglas building there. Government building, but it has the McKinsey Art Gallery in it, as I said. I like the building. It's very prairie-ish. On the other side, there's even terraced gardens that really make it sort of blend into the landscape. Named after T.C. Douglas, one of the former premiers, whom I met years ago when I was in Weyburn. He was from Weyburn originally. In fact, his old Baptist church was moved from its original location. He was a Baptist preacher to start with, before he became a politician. Was moved up to what's called Signal Hill, and is now the T.C. Douglas Center for the Performing Arts, which is fairly grand for something that's still just a little church. But I performed in there more than once with my a cappella group, Midnight Sun, many years ago, and also a play I wrote was performed there. I had a cameo in it for one performance. There's the main entrance. Well, I haven't seen any more warning messages, so I think this last attempt at the stream has been carried on. Interested to see what it looks like on YouTube, exactly what happened, I can tell. Maybe I just turned it off and turned it on for no reason and the message didn't mean anything, but that wasn't the sense I got. I'll find out till I get home, which is about 20 minutes from here. Currently it shows no YouTube viewers, but one Facebook viewer. But again, the bulk of my viewing actually happens on the repeats, on the recordings. Once I get back, it's Kickstarter time. Running the Kickstarter for Shapers of Worlds Volume 5, the 5th anthology featuring authors who were guests on my Aurora Award-winning podcast, The World Shapers. We're at 8,831 of a $12,000 goal as of this morning, with 15 days to go as of noon. It'll be going into 15 days to go. 2 weeks into a 30-day campaign as of noon today. Move up to the next in a series of government buildings along here, Wascana Center. Back that way is this side of the T.C. Douglas building. You can see that kind of prairie-inspired design. Hear geese. You can always hear geese. And I've been seeing a lot of crows this morning too. Let them eat crow. Oof. The hazards of doing this is tripping over rough places that you normally wouldn't because you'd see them, but because I'm either looking straight ahead or down at the screen, I sometimes don't see those sudden rises or falls. This is the Lloyd building. Yes, the Lloyd building. Another former premier. Another goose, just sitting there, minding its own business. What you looking at, buddy? Here's the front of the Lloyd building. Lloyd Place, I think it's called. Yep, Lloyd Place. Been in there a couple of times. I did a lot of work for the Environment Department on a project once, and their offices are up there. I've been in most of these buildings sometime in the last 35 years that I've lived here. '36, I guess, this year. This fall it'll be 36 years since I moved to Regina from Weyburn. I think I have put down roots. Next up is the oh, I played the guy. His name has suddenly gone out of my head. Scottish. First Premier of Saskatchewan. That's annoying. I remembered Lloyd Place. Nobody ever heard of Lloyd compared to, the first Premier and T.C. Douglas. Walter Scott. It's the same name as a famous poet, but it's not the poet. There's a statue of him over in front of the legislative building. I often walk by holding up the plans for the legislative building because that was during his tenure. And as I said, I actually played him once for the 100th anniversary of the Hill Companies. They had me write a script, and as if the Premier had come into the future. Well, the way I set it up, the Premier had arrived from the past aboard H.G. Wells's time machine. It was comparing the way the province had developed to how he hoped it would develop, and it was fun. They seemed to like me because they flew me all the way to Calgary and put me up in a nice hotel, and I did it again there. That time, the Premier of Alberta was there, and I got to poke gentle fun at Alberta from a Saskatchewan perspective as the former Premier. Anyway, this is the oldest of the government buildings along here. First one built in the 50s, I think, maybe even the 40s. Has the provincial crest up there and the fancy stonework up on top. The little glass entrance here is not original because it was built to provide accessible access. It has a lift in it. I'm sure it used to just be stairs that went up. Walter Scott building. See, I did get it right. Just took me a while to remember. Been in there too. Government print shop is down in the back. I think that's where I was. I don't remember why. I know I've been back down in the bowels, so to speak. Lower level. All right. Well, and naturally enough, the next thing that comes up is, in fact, the legislative building. Here's the dome starting to show through the trees. Albert Street is over there, of course. Cars going much quicker. Over here, it's much quieter. More parking lots, of course. There's a fountain up here, but it won't be going for a little while yet, I wouldn't think. Not this next little bit, but the bit after that, there's a fountain which will be going sometime in the next few weeks. The imaginatively named Avenue B. Up here, you can see some concrete benches. They circle a fountain that's very pretty when it's running. Right now, it's just a basin, of course. There's various other monuments and things along here, including the War Memorial. We'll go by that in a minute. Provincial War Memorial, as opposed to the Cenotaph, which is the city War Memorial. And then Victoria Park that I often walk by, or at least point at. There you can see that's a fountain. Will be, maybe the next time I walk this way, since I don't come this way on a regular basis. I'm kind of warm, but I can't unzip my windbreaker because that's what the microphone is attached to. So. We go by the West Wing of the legislative building, that is. Over there is the Provincial War Memorial. Names of the fallen from the First and Second World War, Korean War, on up through Afghanistan, I believe. Front of the legislature now, kind of shadowed this time of the morning because the sun's still rising in the east. We'll go down by the lake, I think. This big yard here often has things in it if there's an event going on. There'll be concessions and stuff usually is what's in here. Or Canada Day, there's a performance stage goes in here. Canada Day is not that far away. And there's the lake. More visible now than it will be later when all the leaves are in over here. And this will take us by the bridge and the dam and around the sinkhole. Apparently it was an underground pipe that collapsed and created that problem. Not just a natural occurrence. I think they're planning to do something to fill it in this year. It's been at least a year now. We'll go through the grass since it's not wet. That's kind of lake. Downtown is over there. There's the Albert Street Bridge, which also goes over top of the little dam that forms the lake. Water flows in on the east side. Some ducks. Another goose. Haven't seen baby geese, but it won't be too long. There might even be some eggs out there now. Probably are. I don't know exactly what their life cycle is, but I know the baby geese show up pretty early in the spring. They can fatten up in time to fly south for the winter. Sleeping ducks down there. Gimbal doesn't like it when I do that. Point with it. It prefers me to use the little joystick to move things around and keep it in the same position. So the dam is right up here. Various flags fly on the bridge, depends on what's going on. Right now they're just the Canadian flag, but if for special months or celebrations and things, there'll be different flags there. Union Jack flies sometimes, for example, and there's various others. Some of them recur every year. Here is the dam, and you can see a bit of the creek. Water is probably flowing at a pretty good clip right now because we're in that time of the year. But that's what makes the lake, is that little dam right there. Look that way, it's very bright and sunny. Here's the hole. It has pumps in it. Oh, what are they doing over there? This is probably related to the sinkhole because that's the backyard that was affected by it. Or else they're working on trees. Actually, that might just be a tree trimming thing going on there. Yeah, it is. That's what it says on the side. It's a tree service. So they trim branches that look like they might potentially fall and cause a problem. Okay, well, there's the lake. A beautiful sunny morning. Now we'll go around this way, get back across Albert Street and home in about 5-10 minutes from here, probably 5. There's the sinkhole. It would have been a not very busy morning around the lake today. There is water down there. I had heard they were turning the pumps back on, so I don't think they're running, but well, the pumps even go into the concrete. I'm interested to see what they do to that this year. They can't leave it. Obviously, it needs to be dealt with. And there should be a little underpass here that you can take under the bridge, but that's all closed off. There's Albert Street. So we go past Speaker's Corner here. Those lamps actually did originate at Hyde Park in London. Sometimes you can jaywalk here, but when the traffic's not heavy, but it's not the safest thing to do. It certainly isn't safe now. There's cars coming. Well, there's been a sign of somebody watching this whole third attempt at the live stream, so I think it stayed up. I'm pretty sure it died the first 2 times. If it didn't, I apologize for 3 times now. There should have been a message to subscribers saying I was live, but sorry about that. As always, I'll point out this house, which I really like. Never been in it, although I do know who owns it. It's a nice house, though. And as always, I'll point out Harrington Mews over here, which is where my fictional character, Wally Knight, lives in the Shards of Excalibur series. Down at that end, in a fictional house in a real location. Although it's interesting to note that from when that was written, if the character had aged normally, he'd be older than my daughter. Wouldn't be a kid anymore. But in books, you are always a kid. You never grow up if you're a character. Sorry, Wally. Oh, everything looks so nice in the sunshine. As I said, I'll get home and keep working on the Kickstarter, trying to promote it. I want it to fund, I want it to overfund, but at the rate it's going, I'm probably just going to scrape in a funding, which is fine, but the funding level is actually below what I really need. However, there's a book production grant application coming up in my near future. Unfortunately, in Canada, publishers rely on grants, and there's one I applied for I did not get, and that might actually spell the end of my publishing hopes next year, if not before. I want to get through everything I'm contracted to publish, but I don't know if there'll be anything after that. So we see how the finances look at the end of the next 3 lists. So I've got spring, summer list, fall, winter list. Fall list is full. Winter list is going to be full. And then we'll see if there's another spring, summer list after that, or if I don't know that I'd close down, but I might take a hiatus and step back and only focus on doing like 4 books a year or something like that. I could afford that. But I can't do what I've done this year, or have done this year when it's all done, which is some 20 books in total. Absolutely nuts. However, at least I'm not just sitting around my house wondering what to do with myself. I have books to write too, and they're just, writing always falls by the wayside because everything else needs to be done. So anyway, those are my concerns at the moment, but I'll get through it. I don't have any savings left, but I'll get through it. Fortunately, we don't rely on my savings in the family. My wife has a high-paying job and good pension and all that. And we have property, and we're certainly not going to go broke. The Shadowpaw Press might go broke. Hope not. Hope not. So again, yes, you could help, now that I've given you my sub story, by going to the Kickstarter at tinyurl.com/shapersofworlds5, numeral 5. There's also a crowdfunder, which is CROWDFUNDR. I think that's just crowdfunder.com/shadowpawpress, or you can use tinyurl.com/shadowpaw24 to get that. And I thank you for your support. Okay. We will stop here. And thanks for watching with me. Bye for now.